When creating links on your website with PHP, it can be tempting to use the server variable PHP self. Well, today I wanted to show the reasons why this should be avoided. Here we have a simple website which just has a single link with the PHP using PHP self. So if I clicked on this link, all it does is just goes to the same page and shows you the link was clicked. As you may have noticed at the top here, the page just calls itself. So here we started example PHP self.php, and then I click on it, it goes to the same page, sends a variable which tells this text up here to show up. The issue with using PHP self is that it's open to cross-site scripting. Let's say, for example, somebody comes here and wants to add a little bit of code to your website. All they got to do is just, after the URL, insert something like this, for example. Here we have some JavaScript that's being inserted, and really all it's going to do is just going to put an alert box which says here. I'm going to go ahead and visit the new URL, and as you can see, once it loads, we have an alert box that says here. So I'm going to click OK. The website no longer shows up, and the reason why that is at the end here I added some comments which basically disabled the website. But in the meantime, whatever this JavaScript code, right now this is pretty harmless. All we're doing is pulling up an alert box, but just imagine what else you could do. I mean, we can run any JavaScript here that we want. So now let's go back and let's try another bit of code. Now this is a little more malicious. So instead of pulling up alert box, instead we're going to load up an onMouseOver event, which will redirect the visitor to some other location. In this case, we're just going to go to a safe location. Just go to google.com. So I'm going to visit the new URL. The initial view doesn't look too bad, but let's go into the source code. And if we take a look, here is the normal anchor tag, but you can see here that the onMouseOver event was added, which calls the JavaScript to redirect us to google.com. And there's a bit of an error here, but in the end, that doesn't matter. So let's go back to the page and just see what happens when the onMouseOver effect is activated. So I'm just going to hover over the link, and you can see how it's doing something, and now all of a sudden we're transferred to google.com. So instead of being on our own website, it's now transferred to google.com, but let's say they wanted to do something a little more malicious, say, for example, sending visitors to a website that installs a virus or does some other malicious activity. PHP self isn't going to be an issue for every browser. For example, let's try the same thing in Internet Explorer. So I'll go up here, try to insert the code to redirect us to google.com, hit enter. You can see at the bottom here, Internet Explorer has modified the page to help prevent cross-site scripting.